Welcome to another episode of Jeff Hates Movies. Uh,
Hey, that's me!
with us today, we have Jeff,
No.
and we have not Jeff,
No.
and we have probably not Jeff. That's me. This week, I don't add that. Wait.
Failed to add term. Damn it!
Don't forget to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/by the railside, as well as Twitter, Instagram. You can even find us on TikTok. We have one video. It is sweet. This week, on our movie review and our adventure into the MCU, we review probably the worst rated MCU movie with a 66 on Rotten Tomatoes, Thor The Dark World. And to tell us all about Thor The Dark World, we'll toss it over to not Jeff.
Today we're taking an excerpt from Raging R2. When the Dark Elves attempt to plunge the universe into darkness, Thor must embark on a perilous and personal journey that will reunite him with Dr. Jane Foster.
Dr. Jane.
You see
Foster.
that this person really got the entire plot of the movie, which was Thor and Jane Foster.
Wait, that was
And-
it?
Yeah, that's it. I let Jeff. I will admit, I let Jeff pick which one. There was that one, which was a single sentence, and all the other ones are at least a paragraph.
That is the worst description of the movie.
Yeah. Do you want me to read a different one?
Yeah, well, yeah, let's
RCS. Oh, no. Okay, I'll pick the shortest one. We'll go with this one. Fuck it. Halo 1K. There are 9 realms of Asgard, and once every 5,000 years they align. Earth happens to be one of these realms. These realms create portals between the worlds during the alignment, which is called convergence. On Earth, in London, England, Jane Foster believes she and her crew have discovered one such portal. Foster, while investigating the phenomenon, is transported to another realm and comes in contact with a substance called the Aether. Upon coming into contact with said substance, it draws Thor from Asgard back to Earth. That's not why he got drawn, but right. Thor takes Jane to Asgard to be cured from the Aether. Unfortunately, in doing so, it draws more than just Jane to that world. Another being called Malekith wants to use the Aether to destroy Asgard. Devising a plan with his brother, the war criminal Loki, Thor heads to the Dark World to destroy the Aether and save Asgard. But can Loki be trusted?
dun dun dun.
The short answer is no.
He is a sneaky bitch, a greasy-haired motherfucker.
He's got snake eyes and a cute butt. Wait.
Whoa.
Wait.
Whoa!
Sorry, I was looking at my notes.
Uh-oh.
He was talking about Dr. Sevig.
No, he's packing.
Yeah. Carrying around more than those rods, you know?
Hey, he was carrying other people's because he's a murderer.
Just taking
Somebody's not a
dicks.
murderer? No.
He could be.
He's
You don't know
psychotic.
what's in those science posts.
Actually, you know what? Maybe now, because he was dealing with the aftermath of the knowledge of a god.
Yeah, getting fucked by Loki.
Whoa! That's not canon yet.
It is.
Mind fucking.
Speaking of getting fucked by Loki, which movie has him fucking a horse?
Don't think. Were you on Pornhub?
Yeah.
No, that's an actual thing that Loki does in Norwegian lore or Viking lore or whatever the fuck you want to call it. He fucks a horse, and that's where Sleipnir comes from. It's Loki's son.
Well, not in the MCU. There's no horse fucking.
They really missed an opportunity there.
Disney won't even let them do R-rated stuff. They're very against it. They just got lucky with Deadpool. They don't want them doing any R-rated
I
stuff.
want Loki to get lucky with a horse.
Well, I mean, he might fuck himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
as a
With this
horse.
whole universe or multiverse of madness, as they call it, he could fuck himself. Yeah, one of them could be a horse.
But
Hell,
he
they
was
could
the
probably have
horse
a
when he fucked the other horse.
yeah, we could
Technically, he let the other horse fuck him.
Whoa.
have a whole Loki horse orgy.
Hell yeah. Just collect a bunch of yourself.
It's really
Turn into a horse.
you don't even have to. You can just find a horse version of him. Be half and half. You don't know who's and who.
Yeah.
What, like a normal centaur or like
No.
BoJack Horseman?
Reverse centaur. The top half is the horse.
Top half? So
Yeah.
daily hooves?
Yeah. And,
Hell
and,
yeah.
and a pitiful human wiener.
Unlucky.
Whoa! Speak for yourself.
Anyways,
So what do you
like-
guys think I rated this movie?
let me tell you. Just because you're a dick.
10 out
you
of 10.
probably rated it high. There was a lot of there's like 2.5 love stories in this movie. And they were kind of just thrown in there. There was a lot of dead time in the movie, which I don't think you enjoyed. So it's stuff that will make your mind wander. I'm thinking non-dick, probably like a 4, and then a 10 just to be a prick to me and Jordan.
What do you think, Jordan?
I think you're gonna go ahead and give it a saucy 6 out of 10.
Saucy 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
Why?
because granted, like this is the first time that I've watched the movie, like all the way through, and been able to do that because every other time I've tried to watch the movie, it was without subtitles,
Oh
so I
yeah.
couldn't understand
Unlucky.
portions of it. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Um,
had to go back and find subtitles too because I was just like, how much Elvish is in this movie?
several amount. So I actually like going back and watching it this time. I enjoyed it a little bit more. So I think from what I watched, I think you enjoyed most of the movie. I think the love connections may have been a little much in your opinion, except for Darcy. I think for some reason you might have enjoyed that mainly because I think it was just this guy is here for Darcy to make out with. That's it, and you might have thought that was funny slash something you want.
His name is Intern.
Is that his like actual character name on Wikipedia or the?
No, his name's Ian. He
Fuck
says
that.
it in the movie, but no one listens.
Are you Ian?
I have it written down as intern. Yeah, so it's 6 out of 10. I think you enjoyed the movie. There wasn't a whole lot of issues that I found that I thought that you would see. So unless you're super more vigilant than I am, who knows?
Yeah, I got a fucking list, so.
Uh-oh.
Fuck.
Of amazing things, probably. He's just...
Absolutely. Like this one here that says. Shit, hold on, I scrolled. Loki's commentary so far is the best part of this movie.
I actually loved the way Loki was portrayed in this movie. I think like compared to the other ones, it's way more like the character. I don't know.
Yeah, he was the best part of this movie. The fucking, like, them on the boat and him just razzing Thor the whole time just reminds me of us so much, because he's just like, hey, I'm an asshole. Hey, I'm an asshole. What are you gonna do but fucking punch you in the head?
Yeah, and then also the range that it showed. He definitely showed a more in-depth character, I found. And I really liked his... what the hell is it called? When he found out that his mother was killed, that just you seem like he looks like he's okay. He finds out once and then blasts all the furniture, and then when Thor comes to break him out, and you just get rid of the mirage that he had. I don't know. The range that Hiddleston was able to pull off with this character was really good. It's something that Hemsworth in Ragnarok, or not Ragnarok, in Endgame does really well with Thor too, like going from the highs and the lows of the on the emotion spectrum. It was
Is
really well
Endgame
done.
Fat Thor?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. AKA relatable Thor. Bad, fat, and playing video games.
But yeah, I think there was a bit of a range of emotion too for Ragnarok, but yeah, it was good to see more comfortability in this, and also Odin got um, a little bit more lines in this one, which is pretty good.
The first time he was on screen though, when they were like celebrating and whatnot, and Thor was just like chilling watching. His lines, Odin's lines, were so like way too fast of tempo and just like sounded forced as hell. It was really awkward. Did you guys notice that?
Is that just when he's like it's just him and Thor talking, and
Yeah.
he's pining, Thor's pining over Jane, and he's just like, "Hey, that girl's into you. Like, hurry up, fuck her. Let's go. Come on, forget your shit. Let's go."
Maybe it was that time. I don't know. It was like they were up on like a ledge, looking down on like Revelry and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was after Thor won the battle.
Yeah, I found Odin's lines to come out way too fast, and it felt like he was reading a script and not having a conversation,
yeah,
which is weird for such an old actor, right?
yeah.
Maybe it was because of his age.
Maybe who knows, like how long they'd been filming that day and whatnot. It's just something I noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
his delivery on other lines and stuff like that, it seemed like super powerful, and then that one was just like, hey, we're gonna wrap for the day, let's go.
Yeah, could be. I'm not sure. Everyone else's acting, though, I found was like pretty on par for the course. I didn't have too much problem or notes really taken with anyone's acting or lines or anything like that. Just Loki's was good, and I found Odin's to be off tempo.
Now, Jeff, I want to know: did you notice any changes with the actors?
The actors, like physical people, or
Yes.
like no,
Okay, so you completely missed it. But one of the characters, Fandral, the like
the
rapier,
fencer.
yeah, the actor changed.
He's like a Omega side character that doesn't have any plot to him whatsoever, so I generally ignore him. Like he's got less plot to him than fucking comedic relief human.
Yeah, fair enough. That was like basically his role. He's just like, hey, he's one of Thor's warriors.
Yeah,
And they did get a little bit more backstory in this one. Not so much him. It was mainly what's his name? Sorry, I'm doing a Google. No, I'm not. I can't
the
find it.
dwarfy guy.
No, the
Oh, the hammer guy, the
Hogan.
Asian guy.
Hogan. Yeah. You get a little bit of more of him, like, 'cause he's not even Asgardian. Like, he's from a
Yeah.
whole other planet, which you learn. And I don't know if is it just Earth that got fucked for age, because it seems like
Yeah.
the Ice Giants have a long life, Asgardians have a long life, wherever Hogan's from, they have a long life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we evolved from monkeys instead of reptiles, so we didn't inherit long life.
It's fucking bullshit. Although I cannot wait for the for crabification to happen, which apparently is a real thing. Yeah, it comes to a point where the most logical step in evolution is to become crab. So eventually we will become crabs.
Yeah, more and more things are becoming crustacean-like.
Which just makes
Hell yeah.
sense. It's gonna happen. They can survive anywhere pretty much.
Hell
But anyways, back to this guy, because I like the change in character. I don't know what it was about the other actor, but he seemed too gentle. Like, even his approach, it didn't seem like he was in battle. He was like, I'm rehearsing, or like, this is a you could. It felt like he was on a stage instead of like, I'm watching a character in a movie.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Whereas Zachary Levi is just, I thought he was really good in this role. I could have done without the accent, but I guess the other guy used an accent, so maybe that was just his thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and they need the accent to. I think they use that as like to portray godliness and royalty in that. For most films, I don't know why it's always like a British style accent or Old English, but maybe because it's more Shakespearean and that's considered to be for higher ups.
I think that's closer to it. It's more fencing's seen as like a more Shakespearean thing. They speak Old English or kind of speak Old English in at least they did in Thor 1, not so much in this one. Um in Asgard and whatnot. I think that was just to differentiate him from the others, give him and fencing's also seen as like a more European thing than anything over here, so I think it's just kind of stereotyping.
Yeah,
Now I want to clarify something. Are you using just European as a descriptor or European derogatory?
Descriptor.
Okay.
I have no problem with fencing. Sport's a sport.
No, I have problems with Europeans.
Oh, all of them?
Most of them.
Scandinavian European?
I don't know.
You son of a bitch.
give me time.
Yeah, I find a few assholes.
Oh, yeah, definitely, no matter what.
Yeah, but I think the acting in this movie was fairly good. I fucking wish that they made Darcy out to be smarter. Like they did a little bit. Like she has progressed a little bit as she like
Choose
knows
her
how
an
to
intern
use.
now.
Yeah, but she is still an intern and has her own intern, which I guess shows how little control Jane actually has. She just sort of has her, and then they got a grant by Shield, and then they're like, "Well, fuck, we got whatever we want now." Um, but I wanted it to show, like, because in WandaVision, she actually like knows what she's doing more than just a little bit. She's not just like remembering what someone else did. She actually understands what she's doing. So there's not much progression with her character other than like I watched my boss smack this piece of equipment around and I did that and nothing worked. So I'm gonna go talk to her when she got interrupted.
Yeah, and the
But
I like the I still like that's probably my one of my favorite characters is her, and I think there was I think I marked down one more, but there's only specific scenes that I really like, and most of the scenes I find are hilarious. Like the funnier scenes for the acting stuff. Loki's reaction still to Frigga's death was great, but when Thor when she's on the phone or Jane's on the phone with was it Michael or no Richard, and
Richard,
Thor's
yeah.
just getting like fucking jealous as shit. It was hilarious. The fact that the god of thunder is getting jealous of some rando it works in an office that only knows how to work the photocopier was amazing.
Yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of that was like cut from the movie because that entire like little side storyline went absolutely nowhere. They're like, look, it's a replacement for Jane. We're going to show that she's still, or for Jane's boyfriend, we're going to show that she's still pining over Thor. Okay, and if they left it at that, that'd be fine. But then he calls and it's just like brings him back into the movie, and then you forget about him again. Like that was really weird. Why couldn't any other character have called her? Was it literally just for that one little comedic moment with Thor to be jealous, or was something cut? Because it felt really out of place to bring him back into the movie just for that.
I think it was honestly just a way for them to bring back like the maybe a little bit of closure on the love story because like at the beginning it was oh Jane's moving on because she's on a date with a guy and then she just like completely leaves him for Thor and maybe that was supposed to be like a little bit of closure although he got none because she just fucking hung up on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
after telling him that she'd meet up with him again
Yeah,
because she wasn't
exactly.
actually listening.
yeah, or they probably inserted that comedic bit just because of the heaviness of the scene before. Like, not like it's not crazy heaviness, but the emotionalness of like, hey, they just had this big action sequence. Loki dies. Let's try and bring people's spirits back up. So then they're like, hey, what's an easy way to get a comedic intro in and also have it so that they can find their way back to Earth. So
Yeah, it could
definitely,
be.
yeah.
I didn't enjoy that scene though personally.
Yeah,
What'd you guys think of the music in this thing? Since I don't.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I didn't really notice anything that stood out. Um, Nothing really like gave me the goose pimples. So it was just a standard I don't even remember hearing music, to be honest, other than at the bullet chase scene. That was basically it, and that was just like a mood setter music. That's basically all the music that I remember.
Yeah, just the usual instrumental stuff to bring either a scene or show the majestic Asgard, and nothing crazy music wise other than Jane's ringtone, which she couldn't figure out how to change. What a shit scientist.
Yeah, I think that's fucking bullshit because she's definitely like Gen X and they understand how to use technology at least a little bit.
Hey, at least this time they have smartphones. In the fucking first movie, they had flip phones for no apparent reason.
First Thor movie?
Yeah,
It's because they were broke.
Yeah.
I mean, Sevig shouldn't have been. He was a professor.
Yeah, he's old as shit.
In the middle of
Nokia.
the fucking desert. The only
Uh,
phone you can use out there is the Nokia 8600.
the one piece of music I did notice was during the funeral for their mom. That was a decent piece of orchestral there, but other than that, I didn't notice any of it.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely has like the effect, but it's more just like a guiding thing, just to use like to set a scene. Nothing that's supposed to like crazy jump out at you. Like when we get to Guardians of the Galaxy, that's the soundtrack plays a role in the storytelling,
Hmm.
which is I enjoy that when you actually have something that's supposed to be that helps out with the story like that. That funeral scene though was like it was good. It definitely showed off some nice CGI, and it was a neat little bit of lore. But God, it was fucking it felt like a filler. Like it seemed like that scene went on for a bit too long, and that's one of the things that I noted. There was a lot of filler in this movie where they just kind of just either extended a camera shot or slowed down the shot so that just to make it or increase the time where nothing was happening. So it throws off the pacing a bit, and it almost seems like you just ran out of storytelling. So you're just it's like when they put in like a descriptor of the grass in a book. You're just like, I get it, it's grass. Like I know what grass is like. You don't have to go on 2 paragraphs with grass.
Yeah, but this grass is different because it's purple.
Grassy.
It's fucking purple.
Well, I don't really know of any instances I took note of about that. I disagree with the funeral one because that one was supposed to be like showing the loss, the repercussions of having the elves there. It showed not only the death of the queen, obviously, but also the death of all the other Asgardians that fell. So I disagree with the um, funeral one being filler.
Yeah, I don't really. It was necessary, but I don't think it needed to be as long. Because like it immediately goes after that to like Thor and his dad talking, I believe, and you could feel the grief in the scene. But I understand why they did it because I mean, like, it is a fairly important thing, right? Like, the queen got killed. That's generally something big that happens that they would probably have a giant ceremony for.
Yeah, and I honestly I don't like that they killed her off. She seemed like she didn't really do much in the first movie, and then coming into this one, it seemed like she was like coming out more as a character and to be more interesting. And you see how um, like the love between like there actually is love between Loki and her, and how she kind of helps guide him along. Like she knows that Thor is Thor, but also like Loki is special in his own way. Um, so it was kind of upsetting that they just like offed her, even though it was a driving force for the movie for the most part. But it just sucked to lose a character before you got to fully get to know them.
Yeah,
I think they had to because if they didn't do that, what you could take this movie out of the MCU and nothing, and no one would ever know, right? Like if if that's the only thing that left a mark on the MCU that happened in this movie.
Not really.
Well, and giving the collector the fucking soul stone or whatever it is for
That and I think that one might have been like the second. Did you watch both post credit scenes?
no, I only watched the first one.
Okay, so at the end it shows Thor and Odin talking, and Odin.
Oh, I did see that, and
Okay, yeah,
it actually ended up being Loki.
yeah. So that
Yeah.
was pretty big because like you don't know where Odin is at that point. I think he was honestly just stricken with grief and probably catatonic, and Loki was like, "This my shot." I think they also used it for Loki because he like you said, she was the only thing that was like really grounding him. She was the only thing keeping him somewhat I don't know, good. And so now he's going into like his descent into darkness. Like I think if she would have lived through this, we wouldn't have villainous Loki anymore because she would have been like every day against Odin's wishes. She would be down in his prison cell talking to him and trying to like turn him into a better person, which I think would have worked.
I don't remember anything Loki does after this point in the MCU. Well, I mean, I didn't know what he did in this movie because I never seen it either. So this isn't the start of a redemption arc. They just decide to bait and switch and go the other way again.
It's not. It's not like super redemption. Like he definitely, when you get into the end game, he sacks the body. Um, but it's he still is like more into the trickiness and the um, resentment towards everyone, and like the whole world is against him. So you'll
Yeah, but
see.
does he do anything like outwardly evil from this point on?
Well, I mean, he rules in his father's stead. Um, he stabs Thor, I believe.
Again?
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, the hiccups. And I mean, like you get a little bit of his redemption arc. His redemption arc, I think, is in the next Thor movie. Um, but what I was saying is like if she survived, it would have been like there wouldn't have been a redemption arc necessary. It would have been like basically behind the scenes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The death of someone you love is a strong I think a stronger turning force than just like saying, "Hey, how are you?" every day kind of thing. But I don't know. It would depend on how they'd take it.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate. Luckily, at least you could see her again in Endgame, so they do bring her back for a little bit. Um, the effects, I did enjoy the effects in this movie. The dark elves themselves were pretty cool, and I liked the cursed elves. Even though I think they said it later on that eventually the seed or whatever that they use will just destroy you, but you'll be pretty much unstoppable. And the fact that that guy was just batting around Mjolnir like it was nobody's business was pretty dope, and he looked cool too.
Yeah, I don't know the lore or whatever behind that because if you're unworthy, you're not supposed to be able to like move Mjolnir at all, and yet he was batting it around. I don't really understand that.
Well, I mean, Mjolnir actually only weighs like 24 pounds. That's how he was able to hang it on the hook.
Yeah, but I was always under the assumption that if you weren't worthy, you couldn't even move the fucking thing, like regardless of how much it weighed.
Yeah, you can't lift it up and wield it. You can't wield the hammer. But if it's coming at you and you're strong enough, you can smack it away. I'm pretty sure Thanos does it.
Yeah, I believe Thanos does, and yeah, he wasn't wielding it. That's the reason because he like basically all he did was just divert the energy. That's how strong he was.
So now, if Mjolnir was sitting on the ground, could he like run up and boot fucking and kick it, since he's not technically wielding it?
I don't believe so. Only if it was like already in motion. He could either like stop it or kick it to like keep it going.
I don't know. It seems weird, but I don't know enough about the like background and whatnot to really say anything.
Yeah, and I don't know what those things are made of, but he does say, like the elf prince does say, any technology that they have will not be able to stop you. So maybe it was something that was made to give someone for a short amount of time superior power than Mjolnir itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which would be because he stops quite a bit in that. Like he goes apeshit on the um, uh, prison cells. Even the shield that was blocking the projector for the bigger shield, he just hammered through no problem. Um, I don't know. I didn't see any in that like beginning scene. I didn't see any of the like cursed elves getting mowed down by was it Bjorn? What the fuck was the dad's name?
Bjalbert, Tyr.
Bjobber Tier? Oh, Tier. Okay.
Not Bjalbert, but Tyr.
Yeah, I didn't. I definitely saw him mowing down like just regular dark elves, and that beginning scene was pretty good, and it did well to set up the villain of the movie. I think in being the dark elves, it was gave the explanation of what was going to happen throughout the movie and the goal of them and the drive, and then to add on to the fact that they got defeated by the Asgardians just adds on that revenge factor too. So I think it did okay to explain the purpose of the villains.
Yeah, I mean, it explained their goal, but not really like why they want to do anything right. And the fact that it was just like an exposition dump really didn't do it any favors. They're just like, look, old elves, they want world to be old again. Go. And the villains in this movie were like completely unexplained. Why do they want the world to go back just because of how it was before? What does that gain them? What does that lose? Like, what does having the world be light lose them? There's no stakes in this movie. Like, there's stakes for the good guys, but you don't understand why the bad guys are doing this at all.
I mean, a little bit because like they were in the universe before the light, right? So if your home was invaded by like, because I would assume if you went from nothing to 100% on all the time, it would be a little bit of a like overstimulation. So maybe they just want to return to like the peace of darkness that they remember before the chaos of the light.
Okay, but like they have their dark world. I don't know how many elves there was. Again, there's nothing explained about these elves at the beginning other than there was a planet of them. But the like, is their dark world not enough for them? Are they like? I want more explanation as to why, not just they're doing it because they're doing it kind of thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, but it's still they're not again. It's the same thing with all the like solo films. It's not meant to be like the crazy villains, so that's why it just takes the average person just to a base explanation of what their goals are and the, obviously the revenge factor into it to drive them to keep at it for so long. And then just to introduce an Infinity Stone because it's the Reality Stone, which they could, with the conversions, they could literally change everything in the universe
Mm-hmm.
back into darkness.
Yeah, it's a reality stone, not the soul stone. That's my bad. I didn't know what one it was. It was red, and I was just like, hmm. Uh, what's with the fucking Asgardians and just like constantly lying to other Asgardians? They're just like, oh, the frost giants are wiped out. Don't go to their planet. No, that's bad. Don't do it. Oh, the dark elves are wiped out. Don't. There's no reason to worry about them finding the Aether. Nope. There's no dark elves. Stop, Thor. Like, what's with the Asgardians and just constantly lying to each other?
Well, I don't know if they knew that the Dark Elves were alive still, because like as you saw when they went back to their planet, it was pretty much glassed. So I think
Mhm.
they actually everyone on the planet got murdered, so they thought that they killed everyone, but then they had a secret hidden spaceship that they can survive on for uh, thousands of years.
Yeah, that was part of the exposition, right? Thor's or not Thor, Odin's dad was there, saw the fucking spaceship take off, and he's just like, nope, they're all dead. That must have been on autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also, well, I mean, it is good in a sense because it shows, like, this movie also shows the background of Asgardians. Like, it's not as cheery as you might think, and it starts to make you think a little bit. Like I wrote down, oh, so they may not be as benevolent as we think. They glassed the elf planet,
They
and
didn't do that.
well, I'm assuming
The elves did that.
the elves killed themselves.
Yeah, the elves set off all their fucking ships to crash into the planet and basically glass it. They sacrificed all their people in an attempt to kill all the Asgardians. That wasn't the Asgardians that did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it wasn't the elves. It was just Malekith.
Yeah.
and then with as soon as the bridge being destroyed or like gets destroyed, the entire, like, all the nine realms erupt into chaos. So it made me think like there was definitely something else going on behind the scenes. Although I mean, like, I know what it is because I've seen the rest of the movies.
Yeah, I wrote down Team Valhalla Galactic Police.
Yeah, and then but you like I said, it'll go way more in depth
Yeah.
in more movies.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that they're just like, nope, we're America in this little fucking thing. We gotta
Yeah.
take care of everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys
I
got any
also
of that
wrote-
oil?
Yeah, I also wrote Stormtroopers versus Vikings for that one planet they were on.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that they moved a lot further away from the City of Gold look into just like more stone and whatnot because you spent a lot more time in not Valhalla, what's this place called? Asgard.
Yeah, which I actually like the way they did it this time because of the first one and the lack of knowledge on how to CGI that stuff. It's not as glaring. It still had a little bit of a like a video game feel to it when they were doing the deep dives into stuff like that. But I found it looked a lot better this time around than before.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of it, they didn't do a lot of. They did some because there was like big battles and whatnot, but they didn't do a lot of large panning shots that forced them to like animate everything right. And I think that really helped. They did like the big one at the beginning when they first got there, and that showed the Gold Palace, and then they're just like, all right, let's try and keep our cameras away from that now.
Yeah.
And they also used a decent amount of, like, practical effects. Like, I'm pretty sure Malekith's bitch, what's his name, Algrim, like, his, for the most part, it was like just an actual suit that he was wearing, other than like the glowing bits. And I'm not 100%. I'm like 99% that the dump truck that the kid like flipped was real the entire time. It looked real to me, anyways. I don't know if that was maybe just me.
It looked a little clean in the one section when it was floating. So it was probably real, and then when they had it floating and turning, they probably CGI'd it a bit. But other than that, yeah, it didn't look terrible.
Yeah, they definitely did a lot more of the practical effects, which are nice. Like practical effects, when done well, will trump almost all CGI. Like, and it just makes you feel good. Like I don't want to watch like a video game on screen unless I'm actually watching cartoons. So,
How fucking dare you?
well, I that's why I like realistically this one was rated the worst. It to me it definitely like it's this one or the Incredible Hulk to for the bottom of it. They're all still pretty good. Like this one I again I'm with Jordan. I got the subtitles, so it is more enjoyable and to actually watch it through. But the compared to the other ones previous to it for the MCU movies, it definitely felt like there was just random either gaps in the action. Some of the writing was good, like the back and forth stuff was still there, but there was like the odd time, like you said with Odin, that just like rushed through dialogue, um, and stuff like that. I do like how they did Darcy though. I will always like that, and the 2.5 love stories, which like Thor and Jane was always going to be in it, and then having like I think it was more like a mocking love story with Darcy and Intern, um, and then obviously the Lady Sif being like super into Thor. I don't know. I don't know if that fits well. Like it was just kind of chucked in there to be like, hey, this girl also is into you, and then it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, I hope there's payoff for that one in the third one or whatever. Because that one I don't mind whatsoever. She's like battle maiden, like she sees herself as queen material. Thor is obviously the prince. Whether she actually likes him or not, it seems like she does and whatnot, but they've been friends for thousands of years and whatnot. They're really close. I don't mind that one whatsoever because it doesn't feel forced. Everything there makes sense to me, and they're not like heavy handing it. They're just like, oh, she gives them a look while they're at the party, they're drinking. I don't know if Asgards can get drunk or not. But it's a time for celebration. She takes her shot, misses, whatever, and then she gives uh what's her name some envious looks and all that kind of stuff. This one I do not mind that story whatsoever. It's not forced, it makes sense. It's not, she's not just like a means to an end like Natalie is. I don't mind that one whatsoever. And the Darcy one, that's just comedic and doesn't actually have any relevance to the plot. So again, I'm fine with it. It was just like a 2-second haha thing. That again, that's fine to me.
What do you think of the love stories, Jordan?
Just sloppy overall. They weren't even that well done. The only one that I slightly enjoyed was, like I said earlier, Darcy's, because she just basically turned her intern into a cocker. Just your mind now. Like he saved her, and then they get teleported in front of Jane and Thor, and she's dipping him. I fucking
Yeah.
lost it.
Yeah.
Best part about the movie, um, Jane and Thor just seems kind of all over the place. Like knowing what I know from the next Thor movie, it just seems like she's way too in it. From like to what happens next.
Yeah, I think they kind of wrote themselves into a corner on that one though, because Natalie's just like, I don't want to be in it anymore, so then they have to like try and fucking get rid of her. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know if like I don't know the next movie. I just read that she fucking doesn't want to be in it anymore, so she dips out and then might be coming back for Thor 4 because reasons I don't really
Yeah.
know, but because the director changed or something like that. So maybe whatever you're referring to in Ragnarok is because of that. I don't know. I could be way off base, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
she dipped out because Patty Jenkins, so the director of Wonder Woman, was actually supposed to do Thor 2. Patty didn't like the script, so she wanted him to redo it. They parted ways based on creative differences, as Hollywood likes to say, and that really upset Natalie Portman because it was like finally a female director. Let's go. Let's push the boundaries. Fuck the white man, and that's why they sort of parted ways. But now she is coming back for Thor 4, and she will be playing Lady Thor.
Natalie Portman is
Yep.
as the same character. Is she still? What's her name?
She's still Jane Foster, yeah, and she wields Mjolnir.
Oh,
Which
okay.
confuses me because, well, I mean, you'll see it in a couple weeks, but just go
Yeah.
bye bye.
Well, they steal the Mjolnir from the other timeline, right?
Yeah, but then they brought it back.
Did they take it back?
Yeah, Steve
Oh.
brought it back.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
as
I
far as
don't
we know,
remember the end of end game after Snap.
Yeah.
yeah, as far as we know, he brought it back. He left with it, and then bench.
Yeah.
Uh, the production and whatnot in this one was a little hit or miss. I found Thor's like plated armor stuff to look a lot faker in this one than the other ones, but maybe I was just paying attention to it more. Did you guys notice?
It did look a little bit hokey. It kind of looked more like plastic instead of like actual metal.
Or like spray painted fucking Teflon or something?
Yeah, like I could definitely cut his sleeves off and then use it to bake something in my oven.
Yeah.
Maybe they did that to like. I think the other ones were more closer to CGI because they're more cut, and this one they're probably like, hey, let's keep on with them practical effects. But yeah, it was more. It's definitely more rubbery than anything.
hmm Yeah, and the only other like part of production and design and whatnot that I really stood out to me was near the end when they were at like Greenwick or Greenwick, however they fucking we pronounce it like Greenwich. But when they were there and all the shit was breaking down, there's white concrete pillars, right? And everything's being destroyed, so you expect rubble and whatnot. So did you notice for the rubble? They
No.
just like poured black sand around these pillars and put some like sparkly bits in it. It I don't know where that would come from, even if it could come from somewhere.
Oh, maybe the ether when Malekith had it all in him, he was blasting Thor with it. Looked like black shit, like black sandy stuff.
Yeah, no, that was more like red crystalline. This was just like piles of sand. I'll see if I can pull up a screenshot of it real quick. Yeah, that maybe it has something to do with the ether, but if it did, it looks fucking horrendous. Did you guys notice anything else from like the production design or anything like that that stood out?
Not really. Like I said, like I did notice an upkeep or an upturn in practical effects. Like you said, though, not all of them were as well done. But nothing really like glaring stood out to me.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Dark Elf ships. I really liked the main ship was cool, but the like little off ships were pretty nice. The um, again, most of it's probably just the CGI stuff. Um, but the driving or the actual Asgardian like boat ships, those ones are pretty cool, and how it like turned, it would just drop the sail on the one side. So that was pretty neat. Um, Overall, like production wise, they definitely showed more of Asgard, which was good. I enjoyed that. Um, but yeah, it wasn't nothing really to write home about. Like there wasn't anything crazy done with that. Just the odd, almost like generic placements, which I think the first one had that too. It was like whatever happens in this little town, like we're just filming this town. That's it.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the like footman dark elves and their costumes?
It just covered the face. That's all it was. It was just a mask. It didn't really seem like I would have liked to see like actual dark out like Malekith was and um, his juiced buddy. Like the foot elves were just it was literally just dudes with helmets on. It didn't seem well done to me.
Or a
Uh,
nice hard plastic chess piece?
yeah, it seemed like the standard like we need a bunch of bad guys, put them in the same uniform type deal because then like you can just pay extras, right? Because like all you have to do is hey, go do this, go point at that gun and act like you're shooting at the Asgardians, and then once the thing in front of you explodes, act like it explodes.
Yeah,
So I would have liked more individuality, but I mean, as a budget thing, they're not going to do it. Just because it's either they're going to have to put everyone in makeup, which is going to be a hassle for everyone, or they're going to have to edit everything in, and then budget gets fucking skyrocketed.
yeah, and then add it like, and also with those guys, like you can just copy and paste. You don't even need all of them. You just have like three guys, and you just copy paste, move them around in the scene type deal. You don't even need to do anything crazy with it, which is unfortunate because the Dark Elves seem like a decent like chunk of lore that they could have explored a little bit more, and then they're just like, hey, put on this mask, and we're only gonna have this one guy in actual costume. The eyes look cool, but I guess you get that from the darkness, almost like
Hell yeah.
a pitch black kind of look, glassed eyes, or
Oh,
shined.
It's the only way you can see in the darkness. You gotta shine your eyeballs.
Yeah. But yeah, I it was good armor though. Like it looked neat, and I guess I don't know, it looked kind of elvish too.
Did you guys notice in a lot of the scenes, and actually throughout the entire movie, like the big actors, Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth, didn't get like wet or that dirty. Like obviously Chris Hemsworth didn't to an extent, but like even the scene, I actually lost it. I don't know if it was like a requirement or it was like actually written in the script when Thor first came down and she was studying the anomalies. How like just out of the blue, she's not getting wet, and Thor's also not getting wet. And then as she walks away, the like it follows her, the
Yeah,
space that's just not getting rained on. I thought that was pretty funny.
yeah, and then Darcy just gets soaked.
Yeah, and I didn't know if that was like in the contract or like that was in the movie. Is like, oh, it's a gravitational anomaly, and it's showing like that she's special.
I took it as just Thor was doing that because then he turned off the rain after, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
He was just keeping his bitch dry.
so good. And then I like the line after when she's like walking and is like, "Ah, I think we're gonna rest." She walks away. She's like, "Hey, how's space? Space is good. You still all muscly, just like poking them."
Through armor, yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect, Darcy.
it really is. I was so happy when they brought her back for WandaVision. I was like, this character needs more in the MCU just because they are amazing.
Yeah, I want her to go through like just like somehow make another super soldier serum by accident, but then take it herself and forget how to make it. Did you guys notice that Chris Hemsworth's hair was different?
No, I didn't.
It wasn't a wig. I guess
Oh yeah.
he actually grew his hair out for it this time. Like I
Oh yeah.
noticed it almost immediately, just because like I was like his hair looks like actual hair. It doesn't look like he's wearing a wig. Like it doesn't look like hair on top of hair. Like especially when it got wet when he was battling in the beginning.
Yeah. Although I do prefer, like, I don't know. It looks. I don't know. It just doesn't look like it suits. I know it's supposed to suit the character, and Thor is like that, but the Thor Ragnarok haircut I think is way better than this one, and it's not just because Stan Lee's the one that does it. The Stan Lee cameo in this one was fucking great. Just can I have my shoe back?
Yeah. He's trying to explain fucking parallel worlds or parallel realms. Come on, give him a shoe.
He just wants to play chess in the nut house, and an actual crazy smart guy is just trying to explain world altering theories. I just want my pudding, bro.
Yeah, just leave me be and give me my shoe. I don't know where he got the other shoe from too, because the other guy just didn't care. It was just Stan. How dare you take Stan's shoe?
I needed it though. It was very important.
Yeah. Did you see? Did you guys were able to pull off the like besides when it goes to that like little end scene where it shows Loki actually as Odin? Did you notice that the soldier was the exact same Asgardian soldier that he turned into as they were walking through the pillars, and there was the transitions?
Well, they made the sound and the effect that of turning into that guy at the end. So I didn't notice it was the same one, but you could hear it was Loki even before he revealed himself as Odin, right? So
Oh yeah, yeah. The soldier that reported Loki's death was the same one he turned into, to make it less conspicuous, so that it didn't look like Thor was breaking him out.
Ooh, I did not notice.
yeah, he turned into that one on the Dark World.
I knew that. I just didn't know it was the same actor.
Yeah. Can I go on my like little weird rants about things in the plot I didn't like now?
Yeah.
There's a few of them.
Positively.
Yes.
See if I have any issues. Doesn't look like.
Uh, this one is just like maybe intentional, maybe not. But when the Reality Stone first went into Natalie, and she was like not really being warped around, but just like in her own weird little limbo. Did you notice she had the Asgardian breastplate on for no apparent reason, even though she hadn't been to Asgard yet?
No, not when she was. Not when she got into that little spot.
Yeah. Um, that was one of my like not biggest complaints because there's a lot of complaints about this movie, but one of my like major complaints was everything in this movie felt like too perfect. It didn't feel like it felt like a movie. She gets transported to another realm um, when identifying her gravitational fields or whatever, and it just happens to be the one that's got this thing, even though it's been like buried and all this kind of stuff. And all that. Like I would have loved to see instead of it just being like, well, you're Thor's lover. Oh, you got the thing on it. Everything's falling into place like dominoes that have been set up specifically for this. I would have liked to see her when she goes through the first gravitational anomaly by accident, her go to like a different world and then start to be chased by like some random beast or something that goes there, and then she runs and runs into another gravitational anomaly because they're on all the worlds, right? And then go to another place and she's like going through all these different worlds trying to escape, not knowing that she's going through these anomalies, and then ending up at that one, the thing going into her, and as the beast comes up to like kill her or whatever, because it's just like some savage beast, it defends her for the first time there. That way it doesn't feel as forced that way. It feels like, oh, she went through all these different ones and one of them happened to be that one, rather than the only one she went to was the plot point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, it this one definitely had the like A leads to B leads to C leads to the feel of the movie. There wasn't any
Mm-hmm.
like wrong turns almost. It was just straight through.
Yeah.
I did have an issue with her when she like went to go touch the goop because like she's supposed to be this smart scientist with 3 fucking degrees. Why is her first instinct, ooh, I see something moving and glowing. I'm gonna go like put my face right next to it. No.
Yeah. And what are these Asgardians? They're like, we buried it in a rock with a hole in it so it can escape anytime someone goes near it. What?
Well,
Why didn't you build something to put it in?
that was its original thing, so they just sort of bifrosted the whole thing out. So instead of they just figured that they would be able to just bury it away. I really feel like Odin's dad had a hint that it might be an Infinity Stone, and that's why he said no, like just bury it deep, don't destroy it, because he knew like you can't.
Yeah, that was another thing. This is a primordial weapon even before you know that it's or I mean, it never shows how they find out it's an Infinity Stone, but before anyone knows it's an Infinity Stone, it's a primordial weapon. Before it's from before the Nine Realms, and Thor's just like, I'll shoot it with lightning. Everything will be fine. That was a shit plan.
Yeah, but it was the best one they had to save Jane.
I mean, it was to save Jane, that's for sure. It wasn't actually going to destroy that thing. It just get the goo out of her was about all.
That's how they saved her though, because now
Who
she's out doesn't have the goo and she's not gonna explode.
who cares if the fucking Nine Realms are turned to darkness? Jane's not got someone else inside of her.
Anything for pussy.
Also, I love how it's been like thousands of years and whatnot, and the Asgardians still just haven't developed footman ranged weapons. They're still just like, yeah, swords.
Yeah,
We'll
but
go
these
through
ones
a
glow when you swing them.
yeah, we'll go through a million fucking soldiers to close the distance on you, but sword, except for Thor and Odin, they've got ranged weapons, but not the foot soldiers.
Hell yeah. Foot soldiers are just fodder.
Yeah, they definitely are to Odin, that's for sure. Uh, Another one I didn't like was Malekith. As soon as Portman got the stone and went to Asgard, he knew the stone was there. He went there. He knew it was in the throne room. He went there. Oh, I got tricked by the bitch. I no longer can sense that the stone is around the corner from me. What?
Well, I can, yeah, I can see that, but I think he's just, it's like a general thing, and it also shows that that was like Frigga's strength. Like Frigga was the one that taught Loki magic and stuff
Mhm.
like that, so that the fact that she would be able to like emphasize her power, that she was able to make almost an exact replica. Like other than if you touch her, then she disappears. But the fact that he was able to still feel the Infinity Stone and the Reality Stone in her, I think that was just to show how much of a badass Frigga was.
Yeah, maybe, but you'd think that once the fucking illusion went away and she got stabbed, he'd be able to see that, oh, look, it's still in this room with me. Basically in the room. It's around the corner, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but as soon as he got stabbed, then he was murked by Thor. Like the
Yeah.
knife went in, and then he got murked by Thor. So then he had to leave. He still knew that the it was there, but not they just couldn't do anything because Thor literally melted his face.
I also want to know, like, why Heimdall can't see these elves, or the planet, or anything that has to do with elves whatsoever.
Yeah, that one. Uh, I wrote that down too. I'm guessing it's because it's before, um, like before the universe type deal. Like they were in the very beginning. They were the first one of the first things. So I think that's why. Because realistically, you could have him. Like I don't know how much he can. Like if he just sees people, but I'm sure he could just find Infinity Stones, and then you could just gather them, lock them away, and hide them from everyone. Would be the
Yeah,
play, but
and I do agree with you. I think it's probably because they're primordial. But how hard would it have been to put that in? Like, he already had a line that says, I can't see them." How hard would it have been to be like, even I can't see them. I can't see, or because they're primordial, or before I was, or something like that, right? Like, how hard is it to just give a reason why these things are happening instead of just, oh, this happened, oh, then this happened. We don't ask questions.
yeah, it
I
makes
also
them.
don't.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't get why they couldn't have hid the stone better. Like the casing, I get that was like the original packaging, right? So they just chucked it back in there. They didn't bother making a new container for it. But when they did the original trope of like bury it deep where no one will find it, that's a guarantee someone's gonna fucking find it.
Yeah. yeah.
Like, well, here's an
Yeah.
idea: use the fucking bridge to zorp it into a sun. Done. No one's getting in there. Or huck it into a black hole.
Yeah, well, you don't really know where they put it, right? Like, who knows? Maybe it's in a realm inside of a black hole, and the only way to fucking get there is from gravitational fluxes, right? Because it wasn't found by conventional means; it was found by the realms merging together. So maybe the hiding spot was infallible, except for once every 5,000 years. Who knows on that one? But yeah, I agree. The whole bury it deep is fairly cheesy.
Yeah, I just think there's better ways to hide it. Or like worst case scenario, you've got one of those fucking boats. Bring your boy to like the edge of the universe, get him to suck up the stone, and then just ship him off. Just like go sail until you're gone, and then it'll just keep going.
Nah, because then it would end up on what the fuck's the planet in Thor Ragnarok with all the junk? Sakaar. That's it.
And the guy who has the stone in him would probably go insane from like loneliness and whatnot, and then use his reality stone to warp back to wherever he wants to be, anyways.
That or he probably just would have made the world a lot better. Like bigger
Maybe.
buildings, more statues of himself. Like because he can do whatever he wants, right? Well, make
Yeah.
it look like he's done whatever he wants.
Yeah. Another weird one is just like shows how, in my opinion, how like stupid Thor is. He makes these plans, the big plan to like gonna steal the ship and all this kind of stuff, and get all my friends like to treason and whatnot. What if his friends just said no? Like, what if one of them was actually loyal to the realm more than him?
You would hit him,
Yeah, they'd be
beat
out
the
of the
shit out
group.
of him. Just go on a full monkey rage. Just
They wouldn't be groupies anymore. And in addition to that, with that fucking plan, why wouldn't he at least go scope out the ship to see if he can even turn it on first? Like, he has no idea what this ship is. He's never, as far as I know, been in, seen an elf ship before. And he's just like, no, I can fly it. That's fine. Whatever. Like, his whole plan was just horrendous and only worked because it was in a movie.
Nah, Loki could have figured it out. No problem.
Maybe. But also, I'd like to know more about that passage that Loki used, right? Like, it's a way into and out of Asgard. Absolutely, sure. But why does it just spit you out exactly where you want to go? What is this passage? Like, used it before to funnel the frost giants in. It doesn't say where they started, but then they're just like, okay, here's the passage. We're on the Dark World now. Like, what is this passage? Is it just a piece of Bifrost? Can Loki control it? How does it? What is this thing?
I
Yeah.
think that might have just been a. Sorry, that might have just been like because of the convergence, but it was also hinted that Loki knew of other ways to get around through the universes because of like the last movie. And at the end of the first Thor movie, when he yeets himself off, or right before, he says there's other. I can't remember the exact line, but basically he says that there's other ways to get around the universe than just the Bifrost.
Yeah, I wish they like it, maybe not explained it, but just like gave you something. It to like to from outside perspective, it's a tunnel through a rock that puts you wherever you want to go, and seems weird.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think it's just they're just supposed to leave certain things up to assumption because realistically, all the uh, all the things that you want explanations on, this would be like a fucking Lord of the Rings marathon style movie. Like it'd be a long ass movie, so I think that's why they don't explain every little thing just to give you either to give the viewer a sense of interpretation or to like sort of just link him like, oh, okay, it's been already been said in previous things that he knows doorways to other um, universes, and so this is just one of those things, and you're just supposed to go along with it.
Yeah, I've said it before, and to me, that's just lazy writing, right? To me, everyone else can love it or hate it. I don't care, but to me, it's just lazy writing.
Yeah, they just leave it for your interpretation. I think it might have just been like maybe he learned about that while he was with Thanos, because like I don't. It's never explained exactly how long he was with Thanos. It could have been a month, could have been like 6 months. We don't know. Maybe someone knows, but I don't know. So maybe he learned other ways to travel that way. Also, he does have access. Well, now he has access to the Tesseract, but I was just under the assumption that like through Thanos or maybe his mother or him being a naughty boy when he was a kid, because he is like 1,500 years old, so he's had time to explore. So he may have found some other way of getting around the universes in those 1,500 years.
Mm-hmm. I think probably one of the most grievous, like I call it an overlook to me in this movie, was before um, they go and get the fucking cell phone call on the Dark Planet or whatever the fuck they did there. Thor's brother, who even though he was an asshole, he still loved and all that kind of stuff, dies in front of him on a strange alien planet. Death is like super important to Asgardians. Like dying in battle and whatnot is a high honor. Loki received or earned a high honor. I don't know about his whole like criminal mind and all that kind of stuff, but he died in high honor, and Thor just fucking leaves his body on this random planet. There is no way in hell that a true Asgardian would leave their brother that they loved, even if they were an asshole, would leave their brother on their dead body on a planet.
We're just gonna carry it around. I don't want to touch it. It's gross.
Yeah, he's adopted.
But you know what I mean? Like that was literally just there to make it seem like, oh, Loki's not actually dead, because if Thor was carrying him around, Thor would know, so we're just gonna make it Thor just not care.
Yeah. Also, at the time, I mean, he had to find a way to get to wherever Malekith was going to be because he had to stop him from releasing the goop.
Yeah, but at that point, they had no plan whatsoever. They were literally just walking around a dead planet. And Thor is like stronger than the Hulk physically. It would not take any like effort for him to take his brother's body with him.
I wouldn't say he's stronger than the Hulk. He keep
Yeah.
up, but the Hulk
He
is definitely
canonically, he at least in the comic books and whatnot, canonically Thor is stronger than the Hulk.
Maybe just the regular Hulk. I think Worldbreaker Hulk is the like top tier.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's
Yeah.
been multiple iterations, but I think like base Thor, base Hulk. I believe Thor is stronger because he is constantly holding back. It's not really shown in a lot of the comics. There was one that they recently did where he's like he got pissed at the Justice League. I think it was after one of the Civil Wars, and he was like fighting Tony, and he just one shot him. And right before he passed out, he was like, "Yeah, I wanted to let you know, like I've been holding back this entire time against everyone."
Yeah, I was really curious about it too, so I looked it up, and in the comics they fought something like 37 times, and the Hulk has won like once. And there's even been iterations in the comic books where the Hulk itself, not Bruce Banner, but the Hulk itself, has said the one thing he fears is Thor with his hammer. And I don't know about Worldbreaker Hulk, but it'd be interesting to see if Worldbreaker Hulk, if he is stronger than regular Thor, if he can go up against God King Thor, because eventually he gets the Odin Force and whatnot in the comic books, right? And I think at that point he's just the unstoppable being.
Yeah. I don't know. I always thought it was just whatever, like, no matter what, the Hulk just gets pure rage, and the more angry he gets, the stronger he gets. But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
realistically, if you are fighting a god, then it's pretty safe to say you're not the strongest one.
Yeah.
Although I believe in the MCU, the Hulk is the strongest one as of now.
Yeah, I don't know what they've changed for the MCU, but okay, even if he's not stronger than the Hulk, even if he's just like on par or slightly below, he could still carry around his dead brother's body.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's like the classic movie we got to cut for like comedy stuff that's in this one, like the fucking bad guy just like blasts him around, and they're going through all these portals and shit like that. And then Thor ends up like in a subway, and instead of just like flying at superhuman speed or whatever, he takes the fucking subway.
He didn't have his hammer. He can only
He
fly with his hammer.
Oh, that's right. If he's like away from his hammer for like fucking 60 seconds, he's just a useless pleb. In the fucking comics, I forgot about that.
His hammer was on the way. It was just
Yeah,
by the moon.
yeah. Okay, well, later on in the movie, after Malekith has gone like supernova basically and has created his little tornado of death, fucking again, he's like, okay, I gotta go stop him. And he just like runs at human speed instead of flying there. I'm like, the bitch is literally turning the multiverse to darkness, and you're just like jogging there? What the fuck are you doing?
Just
He
practice.
had his hammer at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a odd choices for sure.
And the gravity rods. I found those things to just be stupid as hell.
They're aluminum. Can't melt them.
They send out gravitational waves that absorb everything in there, including cars, but they don't absorb themselves, even though they're creating a pocket. if you're creating a pocket, you're within the pocket. You get teleported too.
I think it's like a ripple.
Like a ripple would like tear you apart, wouldn't it? Because you part of you would go through before the other part of you, and then you just like fucking. If you're walking, your like leg ends up in a different section entirely than where the rest of you ends up.
Good thing that didn't happen.
And then my last one is, again, this is just an after credit scene. Why do they give a fucking Infinity Stone to some like random collector guy? I know nothing about this guy, but he looks just like he runs a museum, and they're just like, yes, let's give one of the most powerful objects in the universe to this guy.
Yeah, that one is that one you have to look into what the actual character is. He's I'm pretty sure he's actually like super powerful, but he is the collector. So he goes around, he'll literally collect everything and anything. You go see him in the Guardians of the Galaxy one, and he's got like he's got dark elves and things. If it's powerful, he wants a piece of it, basically. And I think he's yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a celestial too, or like on the same par as like Ego, and his brother's the Grand Master who pops up in Thor Ragnarok.
I'm not really sure. It's never really fully explained. But yeah, that's something that you're gonna have to do research for. The reason, if you don't care about spoilers,
I've no, go ahead. I mean, we're gonna watch them anyways.
that's true. Yeah. So in two movies, I think 2 or 3 movies, we'll find out whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy. But basically, he is like so far removed from the entire galaxy. Only basically only criminals or people who have contacts in the criminal underworld are able to find his location. And he's got really good security because I mean, like he said, he is the collector, the collector. So they gave it to him, I guess, maybe just to hide it, to keep it out of the way, and also because they already had one on their planet, and they couldn't really trust anyone else other than him because they know, at least with him, he's not going to go fucking around with it. Like he just wants to look at it and make everyone else jealous that he has a liquid rock.
Well, he knows it's a stone, right? But I don't know if they knew he knew it was a stone.
Well,
Yeah,
they
and
did say it. They said it's when they gave it to him. They're like, "Why are you giving this to me?" And he said, "Oh, it's not." The guy with the beard says it's not good to keep two Infinity Stones in the same place.
So this guy who is the leader of a criminal group and other criminal groups know his location, they give them one of the most powerful artifacts in the universe. Seems dumb.
well, he's not. I wouldn't say he was a criminal, but like
He's the head of
maybe
the
not.
Tyven group and is a notoriously powerful group in the criminal underworld.
Okay, maybe he's.
Yeah, but he likes to collect things and he'll protect his collection at all cost. So leaving it with them, with him, they figured was the safest option, and it is to set up future movies.
Yeah, I think that's the real key. Is it doesn't make sense. It's to set up future movies.
Yeah. Plus, it didn't really have any bearing on this movie, right? Like it was an after credits.
Yeah. It's not like that's not the part that makes or break this movie. It's just a dumb decision. If I was an Asgardian and I'm like, we are literally gods, should we keep this and defend it ourselves, or should we give it to some random criminal group? I think even though we already have one, I'd probably keep it myself. Yeah, this thing doesn't say what he is. It just says he's nearly as old as the universe itself, but it doesn't say
Yeah,
what he is.
oh, you're looking at that's the MCU wiki. You're better off looking at the actual.
Well,
like
I mean,
comic book
looking at
stuff.
the comic books doesn't really help when they change things in the MCU, right? So
Yeah, but just to get the basis of the character. But yeah. Other than that, let's I guess we're if that was your last point, we're good to wrap it up unless you got anything extra there, Jordan. Or if you have more.
No, I was just looking at it. That's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah, no, I don't really have anything else to add. Oh, I actually, was that Korg's cousin in the beginning?
I think so. It's definitely. I think he's definitely related to him in some way.
Why was he so much bigger than Korg? Like, is Korg just like a little person in
Yeah.
his society?
Yeah, he's a runt.
That's
That's
hilarious.
that's
That's
why.
why his. That's why it didn't work out.
Yeah.
He's pointy and he's small.
Well, that and the he didn't hand up enough pamphlets, and everyone knows paper beats rock. But yeah, once we'll understand that joke when we get to Thor Ragnarok. Before we get into the what the next movie will be, let's get our ratings in, guys. Let's start with Jordan.
I'm gonna give it a 6. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, but not. It is like I said before. It's not my favorite Marvel movie. I put it under the Incredible Hulk. To be honest, I don't get as much enjoyment out of it. It's yeah, I don't know what makes it so different. It just seems more of a meme to me. Like the entire movie is just basically ridiculous. Um, it's more like when like someone takes over or takes like an anime and they just redub it. I'm trying to think. There was
Fan
one.
dub.
Yeah, basically, it seems like a fan dub of the movie. It's at most of the time. The only parts that are like really serious is whenever Odin is on screen or most of the scenes with Malekith. But I enjoyed watching it for the first time with subs, so that is something to say. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch this movie. Probably if there was literally nothing else and nothing else to do, then I'd watch it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it.
I think watching this movie with subs is almost the same as watching it without subs because you don't actually learn anything while they're talking Elvish, do you?
Not really. It's just like maybe a little bit of backstory on the Dark Elves, but it doesn't really go as in depth as you'd like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just like, mad stone or eighth or whatever they called it over there, kill Asgardians. I'm pretty sure that's like all their lines.
I mean, well, in the beginning, a little bit they had more complex lines, but for the most part, yeah, most of the Elvish was just basic, like, oh, go get him or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give this one a 7. I think that's the lowest I rate. I might have rated Incredible Hulk a 7 too, but yeah, um, it definitely deserves to be at the bottom of the MCU rankings. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but I probably like if I'm doing another watch through, it's one of those ones that like if I get a choice, I'll skip it, just because it doesn't really. The only real thing it offers is introduction of an Infinity Stone, um, and then it's just a pretty straightforward story throughout with just odd little filler scenes that I didn't like or didn't feel like it fully needed, and then the development of Loki as a character. But other than that, like there are other things that could have done that, or you could add it into certain sections. And the fact that it just like drained Hemsworth of actually wanting to play Thor again, like he was pretty bummed about that one, and then so he didn't really want to sign on for another one, but luckily Taika saved the day. But yeah, I'm going with a solid 7 for this one.
Can you imagine getting like one of the most powerful characters in the MCU? You get a second movie and your entire role is the jock guy. Like you don't actually have any character development whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah, which just fucking kills you. And then on top of that, just to get just get berated by critics and audiences, just saying how fucking bleh the movie is. And it's got
You know?
your character's name on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, movie's pretty bad. Which will segue into my rating. I'd give this movie like a 3.5. This movie to me was not a standalone movie. It was a segue between other movies. It was a means to an end. The antagonists were forgettable, and their motives basically were just, I'm mad, I'm gonna return the world to darkness. They don't explain why or anything. The antagonist was fucking awful. Thor, the protagonist, doesn't grow or change at all in the movie. He's the exact same at the end as he is at the beginning. The only thing he's accomplished is changing the location of the fucking stone from one place to another, basically. The best parts of this movie, in my opinion, was the fact that they like seem to be giving Loki a redemption arc. Again, I don't know the rest of the MCU and what all happens, but they're giving Loki at least a reason to consider going good because of his mother, kind of stuff like that. And just a lot of questionable decisions and information left out. This movie just doesn't seem like a standalone movie to me. I'd give it a 3.5. If someone put it on instead of any other movie, I'd be upset.
All right, so that brings us to a 5.5 for this one, which actually is the lowest rated one.
I'd much rather watch fucking the Hulk than this one. At least the Hulk's main problem was just it had a really shitty side character.
Yeah. All right. If you made it to this part in the podcast, don't forget to follow us and catch us live on Twitch. We filmed a little bit earlier this week, but we're probably going to go back to our either Friday or Saturday recordings, depending on people's business. You can catch us on Twitter at By Railside and Instagram by the Railside and TikTok, which we're going to try and post more there. Maybe not. Who cares? It's a lot of work. I just like recording and just uploading. Yeah, let us know what you guys thought of Thor The Dark World, and then join us next week while we review Iron Man 3. Probably, out of all of them, I think the Iron Man 3 is ranked the worst, but I enjoy it. The bad guy in it is the best. And
This one I just remember as him being emo for like an hour.
yeah, a little bit.
That's all I remember about this movie. I have no idea who the bad guy is.
And he tells the kid not to be a pussy.
Yeah.
But yeah, join us next week. Other than that, have a good time out there. Go see Shang-Chi. It's releasing the same weekend that this podcast will release. Go check that movie out because it's so far the ratings have been unreal for it. I myself am going to go see it, and I will let you know what I thought about it in a quick little blurb at the beginning of next week. Other than that, you guys take care.
Cunt.